Hello students, we have started with the lesson nutrition in animals and we have finished with nutrition in amoeba as well as nutrition in ruminants. Now you are all very much thorough with the term nutrition. So what is nutrition? Nutrition is the process of conveying, process of taking in food, digesting it and utilizing the food. So we know that. So whenever we are talking about nutrition in animals, so always we should remember the 5 steps in nutrition. So which are the 5 steps in nutrition? It involves ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. These 5 steps in nutrition we should always remember. And this 5 steps of nutrition is seen only in animals because you know very well animals are heterotrophs, right? So here the nutrition they have to ingest. What is ingestion? Ingestion is taking in food. Just taking the food inside the body of an organism. So that day we learned how amoeba takes the food. In the same way, here in case of human being, we take the food and keeping it inside the mouth. That is ingestion. Then after ingestion, what is the next step? It is digestion. So what is digestion? It is a process of converting. It's a process of converting. What it has to convert? Converting what? It is converting the complex food. The process of converting complex food. Now, what is this complex food we are eating? Right? So, what is this complex food? Complex food here, it includes all the carbohydrates and all the proteins and the fats what we include in our daily diet, like whatever we eat, whether you are eating rice, chapati, ragi, they are all complex food. They are complex carbohydrate. This carbohydrate cannot give us energy immediately. You know very well, carbohydrates are the food sources which provides us energy. This food, whatever we are taking, the carbohydrate, they are complex food that has to be converted into simple form. Only when it is converted into simple form, it will be helpful in releasing the energy. Okay, that much you have to keep it in mind. It is process of converting complex food into simple soluble form. It has to be converted into soluble form. See here, you have to keep it in mind. Whatever food we have to take it has to enter inside the cell. You remember or you should know that our body is made up of tiny structures called cells. Our body is made up of tiny structures called cells. So whatever food we take, it has to enter inside each and every cells present in our body. The entire structure what we have, it is made up of this tiny structure, just like how the bricks make the building, right? Bricks are the structural unit of a building, right? The bricks, with the small bricks only, we are making constructing such huge building. In the same way, our body is constructed by those tiny microscopic structure called cells. So I am saying it's microscopic. That means we cannot see with our naked eye. So whatever food we have taken in, it has to enter inside the cell. Only after it gains entry, only after it gets inside the cell, we can get the energy. The energy is released. That's why whatever food we take, they are complex food. It has to be converted into simple soluble form. So this process what we call is digestion. So this is digestion. So what is digestion? It is the process of converting complex food into simple soluble form. I told you the cells are minute. They are made up of small, like a small structure called cell. Our body is made up of small structure called cell. All the digested food should enter inside the cell. Only then we get the energy. So ingestion you understood. Next is digestion. And you know what is absorption? The food, digested food has to be absorbed. Okay. Then only it will be sent to different parts of our body. Then it inside the cell. Okay, each and every cells in our body, it will enter inside. Then it will be utilized for various process. That is called assimilation. Then whatever food we take, there will be some parts in the food which cannot be digested. This undigested food should be thrown out. The undigested food should be thrown out, and that process is called digestion. Okay, so in the form of feces, or the fecal matter, right? It is defecated. Okay, that is called digestion. I hope you have understood now the 5 steps in nutrition. Okay, right? Now, so that's what here we know what is digestion. It's a process of converting the complex food into simple soluble form. Have you ever thought what happens to the food when you take it, right? What are the changes it undergoes after it enters into our body? What we do is we just take the food, keep it in the mouth, and we forget about it, right? Then later on we don't see or we don't try to make what happens to that food. Okay, so now let us learn how or what are the changes it takes place. What are the changes the food undergoes once we take the food inside. So we know we have a complex digestive system. So what is digestive system? Is organ system. Digestive system is an organ system which helps in digesting the food. Okay. So what does our digestive system consist of? So our digestive system consists of what? So you can just look at the diagram here. The digestive system is a long tube. It's a long tunnel, or you can just say long pipe. Okay. Our digestive system is highly complicated. Okay. So it consists of a long tube, or pipe, or you can say tunnel. Okay. Which begins from our mouth, or we can say buccal cavity. It begins, our digestive system begins from the buccal cavity. So what is this buccal cavity? It is the opening, like when you open your mouth, you can see that is the buccal cavity, right? The mouth leads to buccal cavity. Okay, so it begins from the buccal cavity and ends at anus. Okay, so it begins from the mouth. The mouth will lead to the buccal cavity. Then it will pass through all this structure, and it will end at this structure called anus. So this long pipe, we call it alimentary canal. This long pipe, what we refer to is alimentary canal. The long tube or the alimentary canal, or we call it digestive tract. This is called digestive tract. Okay. So digestive system consists of the alimentary canal or the digestive tract along with the associated glands. So what is our digestive system made up of? Our digestive system is made up of the alimentary canal or the digestive tract along with the associated glands. Okay. So together form our digestive system. Now let us see what are the organs that comes in the alimentary canal or the organs of digestion and the glands which will help in digesting the food. So let us check out the organs of alimentary canal. So as I told, alimentary canal, so we should know mouth, which leads to buccal cavity. Mouth leads to buccal cavity. After buccal cavity, we have a long pipe called esophagus. What is it called? Esophagus. Otherwise, it is termed as food pipe. Esophagus is nothing but our food pipe. Then, after esophagus, what is next? The stomach. Then, it goes to the small intestine. Then the large intestine. Then there is a pouch, okay, which will be storing the undigested food, that is called rectum, and it is thrown out through the structure called anus. So together this forms the alimentary canal. These are the organs of alimentary canal. That is mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. I hope you have understood. So let us check which are the digestive glands. Which are the glands that helps in digestion. The digestive glands includes the salivary glands. The salivary glands are present in our mouth. There are 3 pairs of salivary glands are present. Okay, salivary gland is present in our mouth. Then we have liver and the pancreas. So these are the digestive glands. So the organs of alimentary canal as well as the digestive glands will help in digesting the food. Okay. So let us see what will happen to the food in our alimentary canal. Okay. How the food is digested. Okay. So we know the mouth will lead to buccal cavity. Mouth leads to buccal cavity. Okay. So what does this buccal cavity contain? So the buccal cavity contains teeth, tongue and the salivary glands. Okay. So our buccal cavity consists of the teeth, tongue and the salivary gland. So what happens to the food when you take the food? What does the teeth do, or what does the tongue do? Okay, and salivary glands. So let us see the functions of the structure. So when you know very well, there are 4 different types of teeth we have. Which are the 4 different types of teeth we have? We have incisors, canines, premolars and molars. So these are the 4 different types of teeth what we have. So you know very well. What is incisors? You know. Incisors will help in biting. Canines will help in tearing the food. And premolars and molars will help in grinding the food, making it into paste. Okay. So that's the function of teeth. So what is tongue? What is the function of tongue? Tongue we know very well is a muscular organ. Tongue is a muscular organ. And we know very well tongue helps in talking. Other than that, tongue help in tasting the food. They help in tasting the food. So we can recognize the different taste, right? Maybe it is sweetness, sourness, saltiness or the bitterness. All this we can identify because of tongue. Because tongue has taste buds. Okay? Tongue has taste buds which will help in detecting or identifying the different taste. So already I told you which are the different tastes. So which are the different tastes? So it is 3S, 1B, right? Which are the 3S sweetness, sourness and bitterness and saltiness, right? So we can identify the 4 tastes because of the taste buds that are present on the surface of the tongue. Okay, so which are the 4 tastes? We can identify sweetness, sourness, saltiness and bitter. Okay, so we can identify these 4 tastes. Okay, so that's the function of tongue. Other than that, tongue will also help in rolling the food. Tongue will also help in rolling the food. Okay, helps in mixing of the saliva. Okay, it helps in mixing of saliva with the food. Okay, so now what is the next one? The salivary glands. Salivary glands. So as I told you, there are 3 pairs of salivary glands are present. Okay. So we have 3 pairs of salivary glands. 2 are present on the floor of the mouth, and 1 is which is present right in front of our ear. Okay. So the salivary gland produces a enzyme. It will produce an enzyme, a chemical substance which will help in digesting the food. One thing you should remember, student, for digesting the food we need an enzyme. We need enzymes, a chemical substance which will help in breaking down the food. So salivary gland produces salivary amylase. It produces salivary amylase, which is an enzyme, a chemical substance. Okay, so salivary amylase is an enzyme which will help in breaking down starch into maltose. Okay, what is starch? Starch is a carbohydrate. We are taking rice, right? Rice contains starch, right? So it will help in converting starch into maltose. Maltose is another carbohydrate, but it is simpler compared to starch. Okay, so that's why they say that digestion begins right from our mouth. Digestion starts right from our mouth, because see, there itself we can see the starch, which is complex food, is getting converted into another simpler substance, that is maltose. Further again, the maltose should be converted. Okay, only when the carbohydrate gets converted into glucose, then we say it is the simple form of carbohydrate. So in the beginning itself I told you, carbohydrate is a complex food. This carbohydrate has to be converted into simple form. This simple form of carbohydrate, the simplest form of carbohydrate is glucose. So now it has not become glucose. Okay, it is just converted into one more simpler form, not the simplest form. Okay, so it is starch is a complex one. So malt is converted into maltose. Further, the maltose has to be converted into glucose. Glucose, that is conversion of glucose takes place in, conversion of maltose into glucose takes place in the small intestine. So this is the reason why they say that you have to chew your food thoroughly, so that it will help in mixing of salivary amylase, which will help in for the digestion of food. Okay, so this is what happens in the buccal cavity. Now you have eaten the food. You have eaten the food nicely, you have chewed it, you have made it into nice paste. You have converted the food into nice paste, right? That's what the teeth and tongue, everything will help, right? Then it will become a semi-solid substance, okay? It becomes semi-solid substance. So the food, what you have taken, you have chewed nicely and it has become a semi-solid substance, which we call it bolus. What we call? We call it bolus. Now the bolus is swallowed. The bolus is swallowed inside. So it will get inside the esophagus. The bolus is swallowed. Okay. Then it enters the esophagus. So what is esophagus? It is the food pipe. Okay. So when the bolus enters inside the food pipe, it's not like it will just straight away gets inside the stomach. It just swallowed. It will come and drop in the stomach. No, right? It will be moved with contraction and relaxation, alternate contraction and relaxation movement. It will enter the stomach. Okay, so esophagus will not just allow the food just to slip down. It will undergo this rhythmic movement called peristalsis. The rhythmic movement called peristalsis. So what is peristalsis? Peristalsis is the alternate contraction and relaxation movement. One contraction and one relaxation. So it will contract, relax, contract and relaxes, and the food will reach the stomach. The food will reach the stomach, and this peristaltic movement is seen throughout our alimentary canal. Peristalsis movement is seen throughout our alimentary canal. So what is peristalsis? It is the alternate contraction and relaxation movement. Okay, right? So that is peristalsis. In the esophagus, there is no digestion takes place. Okay, we don't. Nothing happens to the bolus. Okay, and the food will enter the stomach. Now the bolus will enter the stomach. So the bolus will enter the stomach.